Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and I'm here with a card using a fun technique and the January 2021 Kit of the Month from Unity Stamp Company. This was kind of one of those fun ideas that pops into your head, and it actually worked like I was picturing, so I was pretty excited. I've already chosen an image and sentiment there from the kit, and I have a panel. This is just white cardstock, and I die cut an oval from the cardstock. You could do this without needing to do this, but this just added an extra layer by creating an oval stencil with this fun technique. And I kind of chose an oval that would fit my image and sentiment into it. I kind of tested it that way. Die cutting a full A2 panel like this also means that I know it's going to fit perfectly over the front of my card. I wanted to make this a one-layer card. I'm only going to be using one color of ink. This is Pinkfresh Studio Coral Reef ink. It's one of my favorite colors ever, and you could do this with just about any color. And the first thing you want to do once you've chosen your color is just put a soft, as I went along, I realized I really only need that soft base layer at the top. I started doing it on the bottom, and then I realized I'm going to go over it again and add more, so I didn't really need to worry about that. And as I go along, I'm just going to, I'm using a piece of Post-it tape to mask off, moving in lines down, and I just keep blending a little more color over the top. Eventually it stops sticking super well there with the Distress ink because it's a little bit, there's some moisture in the Distress ink. So I did end up getting a new piece, and then I just used those others along the top to keep masking the top of the circle so that I didn't end up blending over the top of that. I'm using a ergonomic blending brush from Pink and Main. It's kind of one of my favorite, but any blending brush or foam blender that you prefer would work great for this. And each time I move that down, I'm just, to keep it from trying to need to keep it so perfect, I'm just changing the angle each time I go down. It adds a little bit of a random effect. And you can see just as you go down, each time you add another layer, you're just adding a little bit more depth of color, so it gradiates from lighter to darker at the bottom. And then you have those great lines that just add the texture. So that's what it looks like. And then you peel off that oval mask. I always feel like that's the magic reveal moment there. So now this is really basically going to be a one-layer card. I do add some sequins at the end, but I love how you get all this dimension and fun layering. I'm going to use my MISTI to go ahead and stamp my image in place. I like to use the grids on the MISTI there to line up my image, but the grids on my desk were confusing me, so I had to line it up with the grids on my desk as well. I'm just going to stamp this in one of my favorite black inks. It's VersaFine ONYX Black. It gives a good crisp black impression. Since I'm stamping over the inking, I went ahead and stamped twice to make sure I got a nice dark impression. And about this point, I thought, maybe it would be kind of fun to add a little bit of a shadow effect. So I cleaned those off, and I just moved my card base there in my MISTI just a hair to the left and up. I had it lined up in the corner. Then I grabbed that same Coral Reef ink that I used for my ink blending, and I stamped it one time, and then I cleaned it off and realized, you know what, I think I'll stamp that one twice too, just like I did with the black ink. So I went ahead and stamped it again since it was all lined up in my MISTI. And you kind of see when I pull that off what a great little subtle shadow effect you get. And you really don't have to move that very far in your MISTI. Try and only move it just a tiny bit, so you just get that shadow really close to your original image. All right, and then as a next finishing touch, I decided to add a few sparkly sequins around here. You can see me kind of play with them here as I try and overthink where I'm going to put them, but I ended up just putting them in groups of 3 and then adhering them down in place to finish this card off. And there you have a nice, almost one-layer card if it weren't for the sequins, but still a very flat, easy to pop in the mail card. And I love that dip tide technique. I'm kind of excited to try that with some different colors. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.